You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dinny Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Hello, and how's it going out there? Thank you guys, as always, for calling in to the show, being so loyal and faithful for the cause. We guys love what we're doing with podcasting and radio, as being able to explore into the minds of, all kind of great people, from musicians to actors to entrepreneurs to technology geniuses, and aliens, of course, or people who think they're aliens. It really doesn't matter, where you come from or who you are. If you got like a real cool story, background, we love to talk to you, promote your product, your music, your films, your business, whatever you got. Talk to Deanie, because I will dig into your mind and see, why do you do the things you do? Because you never know. There's always a mission or a mission beneath the surface that, people don't really recognize. But anyway, welcome guys again to Vigilantes Radio. We have over 25,000 of you guys on the phone line with us tonight. Some of you guys over in Google Hangouts. Some of you are on the browser, on our website. Some are in the chat room with us. Oh man, it is great. We're going to have a good time. So I hope you have your tea or your brewski, whatever you drink, whatever you're eating, on your mobile phone for right now, and put your attention on this interview. Just kick back and relax, close your eyes and listen to the words. This is some great stuff for you. So live in the past and you'll be full of sadness, anger, and guilt. Yeah, it's true. Live in the future and your life will be filled with fear, worry, and anxiety. Yeah, that's true too. The best way, guys, is to make a difference in the world, or the best way, to handle things like this is to make a difference in the world, is to live in your presence. All you can do, you can't live your past, you can't relive your past, you can't live in the future unless you're flying over to China. But, I'm sure they have that technology somewhere, but it's not for the common folks like us, right? So what can you do to make sure you're living in the present? Well, Dean is going to tell you, of course. First, be aware of what's going on. Ask yourself, what am I noticing? Be curious. Look at what's going on. Constantly take inventory of the world around you. Then ask yourself, what am I learning? And what are my current options? Finally, ask yourself, what can you do differently as a result of what you have observed or what you have learned? This will force you to focus on the present and what's going on now and on what you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about the past, and the future will be empty unless you commit to living in the present. The here and the now is the place to make a difference. Make a habit of taking notice, learning, and adapting. Don't long for the past or put off your life until the future is here. The time to live your life is right now, in this moment, in this present time. Take that from me, Denny Mussolini. That is my word.
You're live in the mix. Let's get this started.
Yo, hello and welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Music or Inside the Book. Inside the Business, where we dive into the minds of the people who create marvelous things. It feels so good to be back with you guys once again. So one time for my people who are indigos, crystalline or starseeds, or for my Vigilantes audience family. And 2 times for my people who are vegetarian or vegans. If you're like me, we are averaging over 37,000 live listeners, and we've been at this for 4 solid years. I appreciate all you guys who've been rocking with the kid on this journey, and we are still evolving, baby. It is all because of you, most definitely. We are the people who have dedicated their lives to music, spirituality, business, literature, art, movies, and research in every aspect, and we want to allow you an opportunity to tell your story. Man, we've had celebrities on our show, from Grammy Award winning artists to nominees to actors, comedians, CEOs, technology geniuses, visual artists, from authors to professors and aliens, or people who think they're aliens. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. Come on our show and talk to me. So check it out. To book an interview or just to share a real cool story, email me at vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com, and that's V as in Victor. I'm passionate about what I do, just as passionate about what you do, and together, yes, together, we can get your voice heard by the people who should hear it. So let's create something incredible. You know the number to dial, 701-801-9813. Text that number to your buddy right now and tell them to tune in to connect with us or our guests, or you can hop in the mix directly from our website, onlyonemediagroup.com. Right from the homepage, you can slap that go live button and you'll be right here live in the mix and in the chat room with all of us. Feel free to shoot over some questions to ask our guests while they are here, but only as time permits. Sometimes my guests and I talk entirely too much and we take up the entire hour. And as always, all episodes are available for free download, and you can grab that from either Spreaker.com/onlyonemediagroup, iTunes, YouTube, or any app from the Google Play or iTunes Store, or over at our website. And that goes for every single episode that we ever aired.
Well, tonight's interview is the Nate Bynum interview, and I'm your host, Danny Mussolini. If you didn't know that part, that last part, I just have to say it again. But yeah, we are here, right? Our interviews go beyond the businesses, the aspirations, the music, the films, and into the minds of the people who create it. From researching our special guests, mining for details, reading, watching, listening, to everything that we can. Our interviews are designed to bring out the best answers possible through thought-provoking questions that have some real substance. Tonight's guest, like I said already, is Nate Bynum, an actor of great caliber, an educator, and a person who's making lasting impressions on the lives that he's connected to. So, with that, let's welcome Nate to our show. Nate, you're now live in the mix with all of us. How's it going?
Oh, thank you for welcoming me. It's going well. Sitting here in Las Vegas on a colder night than we've had in a couple of weeks, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. How's that going so far? I mean, I've heard it's cold in LA. I'm between places in Mississippi and LA. It's like 42 degrees every now and then. It's very rare.
Yeah, we had 75, 80s last week, and now we're doing 50s and 60s, which is the normal pattern. But it's Vegas weather. It's a desert. We're used to it.
Yeah. So how are you feeling, man? This is a new year and new opportunities. How is Nate feeling?
Doing well. I'm in the middle of a school year. I'm also a professor at a university, so we're almost at midterm, and classes are going well. A good group of students. We've just closed one play, about to open another. So it's a common trend, the highs and lows of academic life in the school year. But everything's going well. Doing well. Feeling good.
Great. And that's what I wanted to start a show off with. Back to your background a bit. And talk about, how you were granted a lifetime employment at two separate universities.
Yeah. I've actually taught at 3, and the second one was Mississippi State University. So something called tenure, where you get reviewed for 5 years. You apply for permanent job status in the 6th year, and then if you get it, you're there. If not, then the 7th year you have to leave. So I've done that at one school, Mississippi State University, and I've done it now here at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. I'm a tenured professor and a full professor here. It's a little challenging. You have to go out and research and do all kinds of work that bring visibility to the school and to your program, and prove that you're nationally and internationally competitive and that you're worthy of their keeping you there, because once they give you tenure, they can't fire you unless you do something stupid. I don't plan on doing anything stupid.
Right.
But it does happen. Don't get me wrong. It does happen. People do tend to do some stupid things sometimes and get dismissed, but I will not be following that road.
Yes, sir. Well, at any rate, go Bulldogs. Mississippi is actually my hometown, or home state.
What part?
Jackson.
What part?
From Jackson.
Okay, yeah, I was at in Starkville. Yeah, I know Jackson very well. I've lectured there as well at Jackson State. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I did when I was younger, like middle program at Jackson State, and was there for the whole summer. While everybody else was doing basketball camp, I was doing science camp. It's kind of crazy.
I'm not going to do a nerdy reference because obviously it worked out well for you. Hey, I was doing acting camp, so, I'm in the same boat.
I would have rather did, acting camp than, science camp. My mother put me in science camp. I guess she thought I was going to be like a Neil deGrasse or something.
You can interview him, then you'll be on the same, at least on the same microphone. That works out well.
Yeah. Well, hey, that path, that summer science camp led me to interview you.
Right. Yeah. Do something in the summer.
Right. So let me ask you this, Nate: is being an educator like one of your something that you're very passionate about? I can tell because you have like a lifetime employment. They can't fire you.
Yeah.
So you have to love what you're doing.
I do. I love the students. I mean, academic life can be a contact sport, but I love the students. And from this particular university, we have students, a student who will be starring on a new TV show in a couple of weeks. We have students from Broadway. We have students who come in the acting program, but they really want to be singers. So there are students who are singers and models. This is a well-rounded program, but I love just meeting them. They're coming in not knowing what the industry actually has to offer or how to be a part of it, and to watch them grow from year 1 to year 4 as an undergraduate, or year 1 to year 3 as a graduate, and then get out into the professional world and you see them on TV, or you hear a record they're doing, or go to New York and see them on Broadway or regional theater, or whatever they want to do. Some are lawyers, some are doctors, some are fighter pilots, whatever. It doesn't matter. The fact is, you've been a part of their success. You've been a part of educating them and helping them to grow, and it makes you feel good, man. I mean, it makes you actually, I know it's corny, but it actually makes you feel better about their success than your own success, because it's an extension of you. So yeah, I like it. I like the work. Yeah,
definitely. So how did education translate for you? Were you an actor before you began your
No. You know what? I never planned to be an educator at all. I thought I was going to go to Broadway and set it on fire being a song and dance man. But New York didn't work out for me. I found out I was a decent singer, but I wasn't. I couldn't get choreography down that well, or as quickly as you have to do it in order to get cast in a Broadway show. So that deterred me from staying in New York. And as a matter of, am I going to eat or pursue my passion? And I can still act, and I found out I was doing better on camera, doing commercials and then TV shows and movies than I was doing Broadway. So. Went back to grad school after a year between undergraduate and graduate, and got my MFA and started teaching and acting. So I got into the industry sort of the back doorway, making sure I had money to pay for it, but also out there auditioning and starting a career, and worked out for me. That's all I can say. But I can't say it was planned, but it did work out for me.
Yeah. So I watched a few clips of yours. And it just really seems natural. Like your talent on camera just seems natural. Is it like?
Well, thank you.
Is it like chewing and chewing bubble gum and walking at the same?
The actor's job is to make it seem natural. There's some thought and if you want to put it that way, science that goes into it. Some things that you have to do, some mechanical understanding of how to work with the camera, how to modulate your voice for the room, the environment you're playing with, and different roles also. There's a different side of you that you have to tap into. But my job, and any actor's job, is to make it look natural, as if you aren't thinking about all the training and all the workshops and seminars and classes that you had, that you're doing, and it all looks as if you're the character.
Okay. And
yeah, it's like when you're interviewing me. You obviously are good at just interviewing stuff. The questions are coming, and it's a natural conversation. Same thing, but there's some work that goes in with it. Obviously,
I like people to think that it comes natural. I'm an introvert. I hate talking, but this is what I do for a living.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So I think the same way. I don't necessarily go out and just start doing crazy things in front of people, but give me a character, give me a script, and pay me substantially for it, then you'll get a good interpretation of something.
Now, I always wanted to ask this question. Like, you're a professional actor. Mm-hmm. How often are acting behind closed doors, like making up scenarios and roles? I think all creative people are creative at all times, and even more so when no one's watching. Especially at night, for example, at 3 o'clock, I get great ideas, and I have to get up and write them down because I'm also a writer. But thoughts come all the time, with me, I just have to quiet the voices in my head, and the only way to do that is to express the thought. That is writing it down or looking at whatever the muses are telling me to look at or think or feel or sing, that kind of thing. And that's a natural part of being a creative person. I mean, if you read even some of the great psychologists or writers, poets, actors, singers, dancers, anybody who does anything that has become publicly well-renowned, they do it also in the quiet moments by themselves, and they can't get away from it. That's just who they are. So I'm used to that. It can be a little troublesome when you're first discovering that you can't stop it, and it may affect your dating life, that kind of thing. But you'll figure it out. Oh man, I could imagine that one. Nate, do you personally believe in the statement less is more, especially when it comes to like social media? Like, your life is on display to any person who has an internet connection, could be in Africa or Lebanon. What are your beliefs on how social media is vital for anyone's career?
But the thing about social media, and I'll have to give my 2 daughters, I have a 28 and a 21-year-old, they've educated me about the value of it and also the power of it, because I didn't know anything about it. I mean, when I came out of school, you had a resume, you had a picture, and you went in, you would sing a song, you do a dance, and you got cast in a Broadway show or a TV show or a movie, and that was it. Now there's Facebook and Instagram and probably a lot of things I can't even think of. Twitter, for example, YouTube. None of that stuff existed. But if you want to get a fan base, if you want to be known, if you want to reach out what is beyond the norm, then you have to be a part of all that. So in that sense, more is what you should expect. And I still fight it sometimes because I'm not comfortable with it sometimes, but with the management company that I'm with comes a business associate, and she's a large part of making sure I'm attached to these things, and she does not believe less is more. So I'm not fearful of it. I can't say I fully embrace it, but I fully understand why it's necessary, and I can see the impact and power of it and the results. And I just have to go with it. Now, that's me. My students are all for it. They will do whatever they can to be seen by anybody, anywhere, and they know more about it than I do as well. So it's a different world now, different game.
Yeah, does it weird you out to see everybody with their camera, like camera phones out now?
Yeah, when I first started teaching at the second school, I walked into a classroom and students already knew my resume, knew what TV shows and movies I knew where it was from because they could Google it. And so that has not changed. And now a person can tell you how many degrees you're separated from someone else, and that's just a part of what they do. I think it helps them because technology is going that way, and I have to teach them how to do something such as a video audition. Well, they're comfortable with technology, so it may be a struggle for me, but for them, they're comfortable with it, and I just have to expand their knowledge on how it works in the business. So I've gotten used to it. I have no choice. I'm a father who had to learn if my daughters were going to communicate with me, I need to learn how to text because they were not going to answer the phone. So I've learned in the pictures and photoshopping. Kids can photocrop and Photoshop like mad, They know how to make themselves look good. Well, that's a part of videotaping. That's a part of being a movie director. That's a part of editing. And they're learning that craft without knowing they're learning that craft. So it makes it easier for me to use the apparatuses that they have to show them how it works in the business. So that's a good thing.
Definitely. That was one of the problems that we had with the show at first. Our listeners would typically call in, and I was like, "Hey, the floor is open for questions," and nobody would say anything. So then, like later on, I would get the emails and like, "Hey, I tried to text a question in." It's like, you can't text the show. You can't text question. You have to pick up the phone and call in. So
the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, you got to do the. You know how to do that? Is dial the number and put the phone to your ear. So so we had to come up with something new, and that's how we integrated Google Hangouts and the chat room. So
right. Well, are you old enough to know or to remember the Yahoo chat rooms before?
Oh yeah,
and all that stuff?
Man, that used to be the thing to do.
Exactly. So they're going back to that, and it works. I mean, it's when I first got a computer. Yeah, that's what I do when I first got here.
Yeah, the AOL and the Yahoo.
Right. Yeah.
Those were the thing.
You have mail.
Yeah, you have mail. Yeah, I used to love when that comes up.
I did too. I mean, I had somebody was contacting me.
So Nate, I remember a time or a movie called it was a film for New York or made in New York, and they were in Mississippi, and we had we had to print out our resumes and have a headshot. Print it. You couldn't email anything. Yeah. You couldn't bring a flash drive. Everything was on paper or hard copy.
Right.
And to reach directors, even actors, stagehands, anybody involved in the film industry, a few decades ago, that's the way you had to approach them. You had to call their offices or try to run up on them. And in person, there was, no tweeting, none of that. What are your thoughts, again, on the evolution of social media when it comes to your professional career?
I have adjusted to it, and I'm speaking now as a teacher who teaches young actors. I have to know it in order to teach them. And as much it is not a part of my original training, it is something that I know is where the industry has gone. For example, a lot of the auditions that I do, say in New York or in Atlanta, outside of Vegas, on the Southeast or East Coast, are video submissions. So now my focus is on how to learn how to be a better video actor and how to better the quality and the technology that I have to have, the kind of cameras and all that, and how to shoot it, because all that stuff you have to know in order to make the videotape and the audition look authentic. And then I have to teach that to my kids. It's much the same as my daughter's telling me you need to get a smartphone and you need to be able to text and you need to be able to receive pictures and send pictures. It's me learning the technology, but also learning that with them and with my grandchild and with my family who are all far away, I need that in order to be close to them. It just keeps us closer. And the same thing is with acting now and teaching my students. In order to be in the business and stay a part of the business and be close to what's going on, they need to know how to use the technology. So I don't fight it. I'm embracing it more and more, but I'm in a position where someone does a lot of it for me. I just have to know enough that I can teach my students so they can do it for themselves.
Definitely. And I have to applaud you for evolving with it as well, because I know a lot of people who have been lost.
Yeah.
And they're not active anymore because they couldn't, control the aspect of there's cameras everywhere now, It's nothing like paparazzi. It's more like, people, I don't want to say it, but, almost invading your privacy,
And then they do. And they do. And they do. Yeah. I get, sometimes in a good way. I mean, the show I did a couple of weeks ago, some people saw, and I hadn't seen those people since high school, and they took the effort to find me through other friends or me through social media. So, and they couldn't have done it as easily had there not been public social media. Yeah. So there's some good in with it as well. And then there's some bad. I mean, there are people who find you and just want to write and say, I didn't like the show. I hate that show. That kind of thing. Just, okay, thank you. Thanks for taking the time.
How do you handle criticism?
I'm used to it. Is what anybody who works in the public's eye. Not saying I like it, but they're not criticizing me necessarily. They don't know me. They're just criticizing what they saw or even the show because they don't like the show or the person you're working with. It's part of the game. As I tell my students, you cannot expect to be a successful actor, and not to say I am, but you can't expect to be a successful actor or to work in this business or to be in the spotlight and not get criticism. It's a part of the game.
Definitely. And I believe you're successful. A successful actor is a...
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah. And that's what it is. Yeah. As long as I'm working on it, I'm successful. That's the way I feel. Yeah.
So how do you challenge yourself to grow in between acting gigs?
I do a lot of workshops and seminars over in LA. Now, I teach every day, but I don't want to be the teacher in the classroom all the time. So I want to be the focus of the instruction. So I go over to LA and I take casting workshops. I take director workshops. I sing, so I still pull out some old songs. My wife is an opera singer, so it's a different style of singing, but she doesn't allow me to miss a note, that kind of thing, because that's what opera people do. Opera is quite different from musical theater in that respect. And so those things that keep me sharp, diction drills, emotional scenes that I may just do when she's gone. I can talk to myself and criticize myself. And every now and then, believe it or not, I may even try to do a dance routine I used to know, just to see can I do it. And I can't, but it's good to try.
What kind of dances did you do?
I studied modern dance. I studied ballet and all that.
Ballet.
Ballet is the foundation. And that's where you learn the basic language and the techniques and the body discipline. Everything else extends from ballet. So anyone who's ever danced is going to do some form of ballet sooner or later. And if they've done formal training, they would have had ballet as a foundation. It's just, it's the body discipline that it teaches. I live in Las Vegas, so there are a lot of people who are my friends who are performers on the Strip. And I go to their shows, and we kid around with me trying to do some of the stuff they do. I'll drop one name. You may know Gladys Knight and the Pips. Remember that group?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so Barbara Knight, her brother, the oldest of the Pips, and actually the only one who's still living, he's a friend of mine. And sometimes we kid around with him trying to teach me some of the steps they used to do. I can't do them, but it's fun trying. Just trying to stay active. That's the idea.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Well, so no wonder I can't do that particular dance move. I have to, get the foundation right, which is ballet.
But these kids now, they move pretty well, though. The hip hop stuff, I can't do it.
I can't do that either.
For me.
Yeah.
I kid my daughter, when you all get older, you're not going to move like that anymore. Trust me. You'll slow down.
Right. So you recently made an appearance on my wife's favorite show, How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh, great.
Yeah, with the Academy Award winner, Golden Globe winner, and so many other award winner, Viola Davis. How was that entire experience for you?
It was great. When I got the first sides, which is what we auditioned for, we call them sides, which is not the whole script. it didn't tell me who I'd be reading opposite if I got the role. And so when they sent the second script, after they told me I was cast, it then had all the star actors' names as who played who. And my wife realized immediately, because that's her show as well, that I would be playing opposite Viola Davis. And I have to admit, it changed somewhat, because Viola's reputation maybe can be intimidating because of the strong characters that she plays, even on this show, but as well as Fences and other things that she does.
Right.
You know, she comes across as a no-nonsense actor. So I did go on with a little trepidation, but I have a job to do. And in that particular scene, I'm a judge who controls the court. So I could play back the fear and say, you got to be in control, so she has to listen to you, that kind of thing. So that helped me a little bit. She's from South Carolina. I'm from South Carolina. That broke the ice. I introduced myself as Nate, and I'm from South Carolina, and we had a little brief chat about that, and it went well. It was a regular shoot, a long shoot, many different camera angles and takes, but she's the ultimate professional. Love watching her work, and I think I've learned something from her, and that means a lot to me as well. But very giving on the set. Nothing to say about her, but all the great things you hear about her is true.
Definitely. South Carolina, huh?
Yes.
South Carolina. Isn't that where Charlemagne, the God, is from?
Who's that?
That's like one of the biggest radio hosts from the Breakfast Club. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Oh, yeah. Upstate, I think it is. Yeah, right. Yeah. There are a lot of famous Carolinians, and you know, Viola is well. There's a bigger one. Maybe we get a chance to talk about him later. But there's one as big. I wouldn't say bigger, but one who's very popular right now as well. Who's getting a lot of pub. So the arts are catching up in Carolina for sure.
Yeah. Something you're very proud of, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's well, you know, in the South, it's sports, and that's what men do, and that's what people do on weekends, to go watch sports. So to see the arts catching up and getting the attention that it is getting makes me very proud. And it's those summer programs that we talked about earlier. And it's also the arts getting involved or getting into the school programs. We've always had choir and that kind of thing, but getting drama clubs now and poetry clubs and different kinds of poetry clubs where young people can express themselves in their own way. And then our job as teachers is to realize, okay, this is a rhythmic pattern that Shakespeare used a long time ago. You're using it in a different way, but the pattern is the same. Or the dance moves where they're doing hip-hop, and you say, okay, this is a dance movement that another famous movement teacher created back in the 15th, 16th century, and that's our job. And they like it as well, as long as they get to do it. They don't care who did it before them. They just like to do it. So the teaching part is letting them know that it follows along a pattern of something else, and that's good.
Right. So I got my notebook out, and I'm finna take notes. How did you land a job?
I have a manager in Los Angeles and an agent, and in this case, it was my manager who submitted my photo and demo reel to the producers for How to Get Away with Murder. And I played a judge on that, so they submitted it for this judge role, and the producers liked what they saw in the picture and the resume, and they called me into audition. So I went over to L.A., they're in the room, and I have already decided the lines, and I perform it, and I think it was the next day they called and say, you know, you've been pinned. Pinned is mean there's a code that they give you, which means you're booked for the role. And they give you a date when you're going to shoot it, and script changes and costume and wardrobe. People start calling you, and then you go and do it.
Awesome. Okay, so far I have get a manager. Step 1. Step 2, get an agent. Step 3, use Nate Bynum's headshot. Right?
You can do it from voiceover as well. They like your voice, they call you. You do same thing. It's like, yeah.
And Nate's Bynum showing up, and it's really me. And it's like, I got you, but now you have to cast me.
10%.
Oh, yeah. So has that episode already aired, or when can we expect it?
It aired last week, Thursday, a week ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and so There's some other stuff I'm waiting to come out now, but yeah, that's aired, and so the publicity campaign for that has ended. Now we start on something else. That's the idea.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I don't normally watch that much TV, but my wife does. But I do have a Hulu.
I got your wife, though. I got your wife on my side. I'm okay now. I'm good.
Yeah. I have a Hulu account. I have a Hulu, so I can always go back and...
Yeah.
I can always go back and watch it.
And I've been getting emails for the last 3 days now of people who are just now seeing it, saying, what are they watching? Why are they so late? And I realize that's what they're doing. They're sitting on the Hulu and other streaming things that play things later. And again, that's what I mean. This is what I'm learning about. These are the things that this generation is teaching me. Because, again, I got notices today of people who just saw me today, and it was on Hulu. Exactly.
Yeah, Nate.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Life is getting so busy that it's almost hard. You got to schedule in TV time. I mean, I do. I have to schedule in movie time, TV time. So if I didn't have the power of Netflix and Hulu and other streaming services I use, I would totally miss everything.
Right.
Now, granted, growing up, if we missed an episode, there's no telling when we'll see it again.
You might not see it again.
Yeah, you may not see it.
You're going to talk about it. I'm learning. Right, yeah. Right. I'm learning about Netflix and Hulu, and my wife streams a lot of things. So, and my daughters, they stream everything. They're not going to pay for cable or anything like that. So, yeah, it's a new world. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably go back and find every flick that you've been in using these services.
Right. Yeah, and you mentioned that because I have to have a demo reel of everything I have, or my clip from every movie or TV show for my demo reel. So it's much easier now to find things. It used to be you'd have to order it from the networks, and that's costly and time consuming. So there are different ways now where you can get a copy of your work, and it saves us time and money. It's much easier.
Definitely. And I've seen your playlist. It's quite long. Yeah. And hats off to you for that, to have that many titles under your belt.
I'm doing okay.
And you're right.
I'm doing okay. Yeah. Yes. I stumbled onto writing and realized that after having acted for so long, I knew how a script should be formatted, how a story should be told, what kind of characters are interesting, what an audience likes, what's the demographics for certain things. And so I just started writing. And from that, I was fortunate enough to submit something to Shonda Rhimes' company, and they liked it and held on to it for a while before they released it. But it proved to me that I can interest people of that caliber. And now I have different things with different networks and producers, and trying to attach different stars to different things. And we're hoping in the next month or so we'll at least have a first sale and move on to a second sale.
Nice. Pursuing those dreams, man. Wow.
Yeah. Gets me up at night, 3 o'clock, so and start writing, and I like it. Works well.
Oh, yeah. Does your wife like it, though?
I go to another room and I don't bother. No. That was a rule a long time ago.
Yeah.
Don't wake me up. So.
Yeah.
She's used to it now.
Oh, yeah. So what's your overall goal or message that you wish to convey through your written work?
I find my work, or so I'm told, to be topical. Things that, like the women's movement, or because I'm not going to say just because I have 2 daughters, but certainly having girls sort of changes your perspective on how women are treated. Indeed. So I have a script on having to do with how women got the right to vote in the 20s and still were not allowed to sit on juries. So I sort of chronicle the tale of the women's movement from then on, during that period, and the kind of issues they addressed. Now, also that it was African-American women who had even more issues than Caucasian women with just voting rights and sitting on juries. So it tells a tale, but it's a tale being told in the 20s that mirrors what's going on pretty much now in 2018. And so I got a network interested in that. And then there's a singer named Joe Tex who was popular. Again, I don't know your age, but Joe Tex was popular with James Brown. And his family, Joe Tex, gave me the rights to his story. And I wrote it, a movie version, and there's a network, a production company, and some stars who are interested in developing it. So those are negotiation things that we're doing right now. And then there are other issues. I think maybe I have one or two fun stories that I've written that have nothing to do with other than my just wanting to make people laugh. But those are the things that interest me. How can I affect the worldview or what we think about or how we see things or how we feel? And also, how can I write things that bring us together because we're agreeing that this is an issue? But you got to put it into a dramatic framework and make it interesting and entertaining. And that's what I write about. Yeah.
Definitely. All right, Nate, our traditional open floor is here for you. I couldn't fit everything into this interview, but I tried my best. And in just in case I missed anything, please add it in right here. You can say anything else that you would like to. I'm going to shut up now. Let this, introvert just be quiet for a minute and let you have the floor.
Okay, again, I'm a professor, so I have to go into a narrative of encouraging young people or any person to follow their dreams, to lay a foundation, and to put it out there that they want to succeed in something and go about trying to do it. The world is conditioned right now in such a way that it can be very discouraging and frustrating. And we have a lot of people around us who try to push us to stop pursuing those things that interest us. Don't do it. If it comes to the arts, and I'm an artist, then you may have a way of saying something, a way of making us feel that no one else has and can do. Pursue that. Be that, live that, and know that you're not the first, because some of the same people that you admire and respect started out the same way. So follow your dreams, lay the foundation, pursue your goals, and you can get there with hard work. And hard work is not a bad thing; it's a good thing because it makes you stronger, it makes you wiser, and it makes you better.
Nice.
Okay.
I'm going to take that to heart, Nate. So thank you for saying that.
Oh, well, thank you for allowing me.
Yeah, there's still some things to do and need to do, just as a person who's evolving as well. And I'm really appreciative of what you just said there.
Well, thank you. I appreciate this time to talk to you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, Nate, we are at our favorite part of the show. We love the interview, of course, but this is what we call the hot seat. And our fans, yes, because you sweat. Your seat all of a sudden gets real hot, especially when there's 25,000 listeners, Yeah, so our fans love this part of the segment, and you can do anything you want. You can let us hear some of those great vocals of yours. Maybe you write poetry and just want to share something. Maybe you have another inspirational speech for old Deanie to listen to and get inspired by. Or maybe you can freestyle rap. Tell a joke, story.
Okay. That gave me one idea.
All right.
Again, I have. This is something I just create myself. Correct. This is something I just do. So I have two daughters, and I love to entertain them. 1,000 nieces and nephews, and they always say that my voice is very Shakespearean and classical because I'm classically trained. So whenever I would try to do any kind of rap song, they and their friends would just fall out. And I'm really trying to do it the right way. So I learned some songs just to entertain their friends. So I don't know the words exactly, but you gave me an idea when you said rap. So this is a guy named 50 Cent. He's a rapper, and he had a song called "In the Club," right? And yeah, so I would always play with my little girls with this, and I'm going to do some of "In the Club," a verse or two. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, my version. Okay. You can find me in the club, bottle full of bub. My mom got what you need to feel the buzz. I'm into having sex, I ain't into making love, so come give me a hug if you're going to get rough. When I pull up front, you see the Benz on the dubs. When I roll 20 deep, it's always drama in the club. Now I roll with Dre, everybody show me love. When you sound like Eminem, you got plenty of groupie love. And homie, ain't nothing changed. Rolls down, G up. I see Z-Box in the cast. Hey man, roll that weed up. If you watch how I move, you make mistake before a player or pep and hit with a few shells, but I don't walk with a limp. Got a meal out the deal and I'm still on the grind. Shorty says she feeling my style, she feeling my flow. Got her I forgot that part. Something getting high, and they really want to go. You find me in the club, body full of bub. My mom got what you need. You want to get a buzz? I'm in there having sex. I ain't in there making love. So come give me a hug if you're gonna get in, if you're getting rubbed. Something like that. That's what I meant.
Now
that's
you
the
know
clean version. That's the clean version.
You know I'm going to tag this as Nate Bynum raps 50 Cent, right?
Oh man.
Yeah.
That she and her teenage friends, they would be falling out.
Oh man, that was great. That was great.
Yeah, they would cry laughing. They would invite their friends over, and then they would try to get their parents to come do it with me. I said, no, we're not taking this any further.
Well, I can't say that. I can't say this. I do have a clearer understanding of the lyrics now, so thanks for that. Like, oh, he said that. Okay. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
thanks.
But those guys, they do a lot of words. Again, it's Shakespearean in that sense. They do a lot of words in a quick amount of time with a rhythmic pattern, and they're following a rhyme scheme. So there's a class that I don't teach it, but there is a class where there's an equation with rapping and 15th century theater.
Ah.
Yeah, especially when you're doing rhythmic patterns or the different kinds of rhythmic patterns.
Definitely. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I got one more question for you, and then we'll leave it at that. At the heart of it all, what's driving you to continue to do this?
I do love it. I don't think I've even gotten close to all that I can achieve. I've starred in a movie, but the dog was the actual star. That was Benji off the leash. I've been a recurring character on a TV show, and I've just guest starred on a TV show, but I've yet to be a regular on a TV show. I'm commissioned with some scripts, but I've yet to sell a script and see it on television or on the big screen as something that I wrote. So in terms of my artistry, there's a lot to achieve. In terms of being a teacher, I've reached the ultimate of where I can be in terms of being a full professor. Now I want to see some of the students whom I've taught achieve those things that I've yet to achieve artistically as actors and writers and singers. And most of all, I have two girls that I love dearly. I want to see them become successful, contributing adults. And I have a little grandson. I want to hang around as long as I can, see him grow up, and not necessarily mirror what his grandfather's done, but I want to see him follow his dreams and lay a foundation and do all that he can to be all that he can be. So that keeps me. And I have a wife that I love dearly who tolerates me, and I want to keep her happy as well. So a lot of things that keep me going, and those are just some of them.
Definitely. Hey, when you get that Oscar or Golden Globe, Danny Mussolini will be rooting for you all the way.
Oh, and I will call you and say, hey, it's here. Let's talk.
Man, I would actually come out there for that.
And I would invite you, man. I would invite you.
That would be very nice.
Right.
Yep. All right, man. You've been a blast, and I definitely appreciate all the things you've done for art and theater, as well as dance and now rapping. You know, that's another one. So, thank you for all your contributions. It's greatly appreciated.
Oh, I thank you. I thank you for this opportunity, and good to talk to you. Ever in Vegas, give me a call. We'll hook up.
Thank you, my Vigilantes family, as always, for checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio. All episodes are available for free download, and you can grab that from either Spreaker.com/Only One Media Group, iTunes, YouTube, any app that's on a Google Play or iTunes store, or our website. And that goes from every single episode that we've ever aired. If you'd like to request music or a particular guest or send something for me to play, email it to theradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. If it's music, please label it by artist and title. Here's my disclaimer. We are genre free, we do not judge, and we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay, but facts alone. And actually, you can scratch all of that because all of my opinions are always right. That's the bottom line. This is my show, so deal with it. Nah, just kidding. On behalf of myself, Danny Mussolini, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, either afterwards or live with us. Spread the word, because sharing is caring. We stepped up our game just for you guys and our guests to make sure that you have the best experience here on our show. Be sure to connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, as well as Spreaker. We always follow back. That is the number one rule. Okay, well, just remember to be yourself and be absolutely great at just doing that. Avoid being too comfortable, because you're messing with your potential when you do that. Peace and have a good night.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds of the duo No Longer the Hero. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com. This is a Seventh Sign Regime Rebirth Worldwide Syndicate exclusive.